All right, good morning, everyone. So we are jumping into the mix. Here is week 7 lesson and some insight for how to complete this week's work. Just a reminder from our next steps, right? You're going to complete the weekly packet. You're going to revise your essay. You're going to check in with attendance. You will choose for yourself whether or not you will do your free write journal entry. You're going to check Google Classroom. And then, and very, very importantly, you are in step 6 going to complete your grade selection form. Okay. Number 7 survey that I'm going to pass out on Friday. Just looking to make the class better for next year and grow as a teacher. So look forward to that. All right. Again, our CLO. You should have that pasted in your document if you don't already. We will be able to edit and revise our Romeo and Juliet essay using arms, cups, and argumentation to improve our argumentative writing. And then here's a reminder of the prompt. Okay, so since this week we are revising the essay, let's refresh ourselves with the prompt and what we were supposed to answer in our previous writing. To what extent are Romeo and Juliet each changed by love over the course of the play? Consider both similarities and differences in terms of love's effect on each character, as well as how Shakespeare uses authorial craft to convey these changes. Right? Remember, to what extent means from point A to point B, right? How much or how little are Romeo and Juliet changed by love over the course of the play, right? Think about the similarities that they've shared, right? Maybe they both changed in certain ways, but what are some ways or differences that each character went through in terms of how love impacted or affected them? And then additionally, making sure that you keep in mind, I want to know and I want to hear you tell me, or I want to read you tell me how Shakespeare uses and does these things. Okay, so it's not just what Romeo did, it's not just what Juliet did, but how did Shakespeare demonstrate those changes? Okay. Here's a path. I know this is kind of a lot of text, so we're just going to take it as it is. Okay, so you're going to need to make sure that you have the best evidence, right? Demonstration that you can read and find good, strong evidence, a clear answer to the prompt with literary analysis, a clear claim and counterclaim, grammar, spelling, and other writing conventions you'll need to consider. I want to see when you copy and paste your old essay into the weekly packet, what I would like to see is some sort of demonstration, right, of you identifying which transition words you used. Did you highlight your claim and counterclaim? Did you have a claim and counterclaim? Highlight your evidence. Maybe you didn't select evidence or your evidence is lacking. If we go back and we highlight these things, that'll give us some insight into what we should revise or edit this time around. And then lastly, before you submit, okay, just check this list before submitting everything. Do you answer the prompt? Ask yourself that. Does your evidence clearly connect to your answer, right? Does your evidence clearly support your answer? Okay. Do you have a clear claim and counterclaim? Writing conventions, so grammar, spelling, punctuation, all of these things. And then MLA format. Okay, I want to make sure that our essays are MLA format documented. Okay, it's just preparing us for next year, preparing us for 11th, 10th grade, 11th grade, and onwards. When we write in English, we use the MLA format. Or I'm sorry, I should say when we write for like language arts classes or English classes, we use the MLA format. Okay. If you have questions about this slide, come to office hours, send me an email, reach out with any questions if anything is unclear or if you would like further guidance. So one thing that we want to try, that we could try and practice this week, unfortunately, not being in person, it makes it really difficult to try and teach a brand new concept. But if you are willing and you would like to try and revise your essay in such a way that you practice what's called an ACCREIT instead of just a regular ACIT, this new one allows space for, and I'm missing a C. All right, I apologize. I'll add another one in there. This is one way that we can make sure that we have a clear claim, right? A clear for position with a concession and rebuttal with a clear understanding of the against position. Okay, so to the right is an example you could follow to make sure that you develop a strong argument for and against, right? So you would start your paragraph with some sort of assertion, right? William Shakespeare uses character development to build tension in the play. And then you would follow it up with a claim. An example of this happens when Romeo and Juliet are lying in the chamber. Romeo had a lengthy amount of time to decide to drink the poison, which left the reader anticipating Juliet's awakening and condemning Romeo for again making another rash decision. Now, my counterclaim. Many would argue that, in fact, this scene does not build tension because for so long in the play, the audience knew of their coming deaths. Thus, their drawn-out death does not contain the tension, some might argue. Yes, the death of the star-crossed lovers was inevitable. We read the lines in the prologue to begin the play. It is an ever-present reminder throughout the play. Furthermore, this expectation should not decrease tension, but rather amplify it through character development and the use of figurative language. As Romeo, now here's my context, okay? I gave my claim. I understood the parameters of how somebody might create a counterclaim. I conceded a point, right? I acknowledge in my concession, I acknowledge the counterclaim. My rebuttal, right, then says, you know what, but I don't buy it. I'm sticking with what I believe. And then I move into my context. As Romeo and Juliet fell in love, the author uses clever and romantic metaphors to illustrate their pair's indulgence in love, right? Notice the author, I should have used his name, right? Shakespeare uses clever and romantic metaphors. I'm identifying what Shakespeare does, okay? Indulgence in love, we are led to the final moments when Juliet lay in her family's tomb, where Romeo believes her to be dead. The reader knows that she drank a vial of liquid which caused her to appear dead. Maybe I could go back and I could revise this context. It seems a little bland. Maybe I can add a little bit more. Okay. Evidence. After learning of Romeo's banishment, she meets Friar Lawrence and procures a vial to fake her death, which evidence of her drinking the vial. Right now, here's what I want you to pay attention to, and I'm going to try to get some of this stuff to disappear off my screen. Notice the progression. Okay. Really, the only thing that's changing from our ACIT is this claim through rebuttal. Okay. Follow this pattern, right? Even if you just have a claim and a counterclaim, that's still better than having really mixed identification of your elements in your writing. And so what I mean by all of that is it's much better to use a counterclaim and a claim and forget the concession and rebuttal, but have the claim and counterclaim be super clear than it is to get lost and confused in trying to do the concession and rebuttal while making everything else a little more confusing. Okay, so what I would like you to do, if you want to try this pattern, is really focus on adding in your claim, counterclaim, concession, and rebuttal as you're writing. If this is a process that you're not ready to engage with, then make sure that your previous steps here are 100% followed. Okay. Free writing. If you guys do it, check in with me. Let me know what's going on in your life, how you're doing. But you could also use it as a place to set goals for next year. Where do you want to be? How do you want to start the year? What if we're still doing online learning? Right? Think through some of these things in preparation for 10th grade. Some agenda for the week. If you would like, make sure that you're watching the weekly videos. Make sure that you have identified and can speak on your CLO. Revise your essay, right? That's our main goal. That's our main project. That's our main work this week. If you need to come to office hours for help, we'll work through how to do these things and then turn in all work by midnight on Friday, and you will be set. I will leave you with this if you'd like to take a picture. This is your plan. I hope you guys have a great week. I miss you all and look forward to reading your revisions. Have a great week.